All right, shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well, that teach well while learning truth, 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, the prophets, the servants, scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and shalom to the Akwaf, which are the sisters that are sincere, and your children, shalom. And in today's video, as you brothers and sisters can see, is going to be another emergency alert. Things that are basically happening in the world, far as with this third world's war that's building up. So we're going to read the title. It says, two nuke sniffers airborne and the land of Israel, right, which are those Amalekites over there pretending to be the Lord's people, those little hats, to strike Iran regardless of Trump and Iran deal. So see, we told you that these things was going to happen, man. Donald Trump basically been talking about for the last few weeks or whatnot, since he came in office, basically about, getting Iran and those Amalekites over there a negotiation, a peace deal and things of that nature. But we know what the Lord said, that when they start saying peace and safety, what's going to happen. And we know that peace is not coming, but destruction, right? And I'm going to read this. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, so cometh as a thief in the night. Verse 3, for when they, right, meaning these heathen nations, these Edomites and all of these other countries that are trying to say that there's going to be peace coming, there's not peace coming, man. Only thing is coming is ultimately destruction, man. And it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, which they're talking about now, they're having talks of peace plans. Trump, with his people and things of that nature that are set up to try to think that they're about to bring peace into the world. They're trying to do it with Russia and Ukraine. They're trying to do it with Israel and Iran. So that's all you hear going around in the news lately, and what they're trying to bring forth allegedly is peace. And we know that peace is not coming, man. So it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So ultimately, that's the time that we're living in, that destruction is getting ready to come, because we're not living in a time of peace. We know the Lord said that there's a time and place for everything. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8, a time for war, a time to hate, and things of that nature, etc., roughly paraphrasing it. But we're living in that time now of war, man, and of evils. And that's what the Lord is bringing upon this earth, man. There's not going to be any peace deals. There's not going to be any negotiations and things of that nature, man. But what's coming is judgment, right? So I'm going to get into this video, from the guy NY Prepper, so, we can hear what it is he's basically talking about. Lord's willing to be edifying. Right? So we're going to start this video, but before I do, I'm going to say fair use on the 1976 Copyright Act. I'm not getting paid for this video. This is only for educational purposes only. So with that being said, fair use.
What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Monday, March 12th, 2025, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 15:16 Eastern Time here in the United States, and I wanted to update you guys on the situation between Pakistan and India, and I also wanted to update you on Ukraine and also Iran. So what you're looking at here are some U.S. military flights. We have two U.S. Air Force nuke sniffer planes airborne this afternoon. One of them is currently over Alaska, appears to be going towards Asia. And then there was another one over Nebraska that turned its tracker off. Now, these planes are responsible for detecting radiation in the atmosphere after a nuclear detonation or a nuclear power plant meltdown or any kind of radiation release. They can detect traces of radiation in the atmosphere. So for there to be two of them up in the air is extremely unusual. And this tells me that our military is either concerned about a nuclear exchange between Pakistan and India, or potentially Russia is going to be doing a nuclear test of some kind, or maybe North Korea. What's interesting,
right? So we know, as it says in the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6, that this is the time period that we're living in, brothers and sisters, that, prophecy is constantly fulfilling. Day in and day out, that we get closer and closer to the Lord's second return, the more we're going to see ultimately leading up to this third world war. But there are just talks of it happening now, because we know ultimately that, as it says, I'm finna get in this precept right here, bear with me. St. Matthew chapter 24 verse 6 in the KJV, and it says, and ye shall hear of wars, right? That's what we're hearing about. You got wars that are occurring actually in the world as of now. You got Iran and the Houthis and all of them going back and forth with the Israelis. They're fighting against one another and things of that nature. Then you got the people over there in Ukraine and Russia. They're fighting and going at it with one another's. Then you got the rumors of wars, which are the talks of wars. You got the talks of the Israelis nuking the Iran nuclear program and things of that nature. You got the talks of, China invading Taiwan and things of that nature. North Korea came out with a threat, talking about how they're basically going to nuke the U.S. and South Korea and things of that nature. Those are all the rumors of wars, right? But it says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And we know ultimately the end won't come until that MOTB, right? Which it tells us about in Revelation 13 and 16 is made mandatory. And until that gets on the scene, then we know that there won't be any nuclear destruction from coming to Babylon the Great, I should say. We don't know if any nukes are going to get shot off quickly, but we know the mother of all wars that's going to come, which is going to be the Battle of Armageddon, which is going to take place over there in what they call today the Middle East, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, that won't take place till the MOTB is made mandatory, right? At least it's already taking place, I should say, but it won't heat up till the MOTB is made mandatory, right? So I'm gonna get this precept, but I'm gonna read it in NLT, and then I'm gonna show that post that I had, right, about North Korea. This is Matthew 24 and 6 in the NLT. And it says, and you will have wars and threats of wars, right? That's all you hearing going on. Threats of, oh, I can nuke you and all this and that and things of that nature. All of these different countries are all threatening one another. You either got, like I said, China threatening Taiwan, North Korea threatening South Korea. You got the U.S. threatening everybody. I mean, this is just the time period in which we're living in, threats of wars. But don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, letting us know that it will come, but the end won't follow immediately, right? So during these wars and threats of wars, we know the end won't possibly come because, like I said, there's still prophecies that has to fulfill before ultimately we know that this third world war can get nuclear, right? So I'm going to go to this post that I got, right? Just, building off of the wars and threats of wars, because that's the time period that we're living in. You got a lot of wars and threats of wars happening. A lot of countries going up against one another, threatening to bomb each other and things of that nature. This is the spirit that's in the earth right now, right? So here go one the post I got. It says Pakistan warns nuclear war with India is a clear and present threat. Right. So that's wars and rumors of wars, talks of wars, things of that nature, And I got another one. It said Kim Jong-un prepares for nuclear war and chilling missile tests targeting the U.S. and South. Right. So we know, like I said, these things are going to continue to escalate and to escalate ultimately to this third world war take place, which we know is coming soon, But like it says in Revelations 11 and 14, and behold, the second war was passed, right? Representing the Second World War, which occurred from 1939 to 1949. And behold, the third war coming quickly, which is this third world war that's building up over there in the Middle East, right? Because that's where it's going to take place at, as it tells us in the book of Joel. And I might as well go to that, But we know that this world's war will take place in the so-called, today what they call the Middle East, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which in the Hebrew means Yahweh Shaphat, where the Lord is going to judge all of these heathen nations round about, man. All right. So this is Joel chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 9. And it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, right? Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak say I'm strong. And that's what you just seen through those shorts I was showing you, brothers and sisters, those posts. You got the North Korea, which was once upon a time a weak nation. They didn't possess nuclear capabilities and things of that nature. But now they have nuclear missiles, man. And now they're making threats towards America, saying that they're going to bomb and nuke this place, man. So, all of this stuff goes into these weak nations that didn't have the capabilities that they have now. They're strong now, So then now that they on the same playing field as America, now they can't be threatened and things of that nature, because they all have the same amount of artillery. It's a fair playing ground now, I should say. They all possess the same technology now, so it's not no more threatening or bullying us and things of that nature how it used to be. Everybody has the same amount of weaponry, so that's why it says let the weak say I am strong. These nations are strong now, right? Going into Iran, which are, at once upon a time they didn't possess nuclear capabilities, but now seeing as though they have Russia, right, which is, it tells you in Ezekiel 38 how Russia is going to be a guard to all of these nations, and that word guard mean a protector. So now these nations, they're puffing up now. So that's what's happening, right? And this is verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Verse 12. Let the heathen, right, be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is over there in the Middle East, where you're seeing all of the tension happen. You're seeing all of the chaos mainly ensuing over there in what they call the Middle East today. That's why you got America sending all of their military forces and, aircraft carriers and things of that nature over there, fighter jets and etc., man, because they know ultimately that that's where that third world war is going to take place at. And we know ultimately how Bashem Yahushua is controlling everything, because it tells you that in Proverbs 21:1, that the king's heart, meaning his mind, is in the hand of the Lord, and he turneth it whithersoever he will. Since DJT got in the office, that's all he's been doing, really. And even when Biden was in office, sending artillery and things over there to the so-called Middle East. Because this third world war is getting ready to come, man, and they know it's coming, right? And it says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, right? So that's what's coming, brothers and sisters. This third world war, that's what everything is being ultimately builded up and pushed to, So I'm going to get back into this video, so we can hear what else it is that he's basically talking about,
Doing a nuclear test of some kind, or maybe North Korea. What's interesting is one is going over to the Pacific, okay? So potentially a nuclear test, potentially Iran testing nukes, or Russia or North Korea, or potentially a nuclear exchange between Pakistan and India. And I wanted to remind you guys that today is the day that
right. So, basically that's everything that's taking place right now, and it says Israel to strike Iran regardless of Trump and Iran deal. And we know ultimately, like I said before, that all of this is going to lead up to the third world war, because we know, as it tells us, I'm going to get this precept in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, right? Verse, I believe it's 20, and this is what we're seeing line up right in front of our faces. You got the little hats over there saying that basically they're going to attack Iran, man. And we know that once they attack Iran, that's when everything is going to really get heated. That's when the World War III is going to be officially mandated. That is going to be, we're going to officially know that we're in World War III once that happens, right? And everything is being builded up to that, right? So this is Jeremiah 49:20. It said, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that he have taken against Edom, right? Which are these Edomites, these people that are in power now, the so-called white man, right? And his purposes that he have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock, right? Meaning those Israelites, Salakia, those Amalekites over there, those little hats over there in the land of Egypt, they're the least of the flock, right? Shall surely draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. And that's talking about them little hats over there. Those Amalekites are going to drag America into this third world war. And they're going to do that when they ultimately attack Iran. And like I said earlier in Ezekiel 38, with Russia being the guard or the protector of Iran, when America joins the fight due to Israel attacking Iran, then you're going to have Russia and all of the other nations get in. And that's how this place is going to be made desolate. In 1 hour, as it tells us in Revelation 18. In that land of Israel, where those little hats are going to get attacked as well. But we know ultimately that that place will be rehabited or inhabited again once the Lord returns. And he gets the heathens to build it up and things of that nature. But this place, America, is going to be desolate forever, man. And that's what everything is building up to, So yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to say with today's video. Just some quick through the spirit, an update of things that are taking place in the earth. But with that being said, to the next time, I'm gonna say shalom.